Hello, it's Logic. I'm back with another video after a lot of months of not posting anything. Actually, I think the last thing I posted was my dorm tour, but that's not what this is about. This is, for context, I am part of a stage makeup class for my theater minor, and we were given the project of creating a YouTube tutorial on what we were doing, which is makeup based on a character in theater who is above the age of 60. And I picked King Lear. We still have to come up with our own design for it, because part of stage makeup is coming up with designs for stuff. I'm going through my makeup kit right now. Like most, for this class, everyone uses the same kit, which is here we go. Is the Cream Blend pack by Mayron. I really hope the camera flips this back, but if not, it was a little bit pricey. However, not as bad as it could have been. So, first things first is coming up with the base. I'm really pale with some green undertones, so for this I use the Ivory Bisque. Yeah. And fun fact is, with the makeup stuff, I get to learn how to do new things. I learned more about cleanliness from stuff, so rather than taking it directly out of this, you take a spoon or something. Most of the ones I've been using thus far have been plastic, but I don't see why metal would be any different. As long as they're clean, I think that's all that matters. And you take some out, which is called decanting, and then plate to put it on. So, I've now forgotten if I said it, but that's what I forgot.
Hey, let's put it if you mess up a little bit, because I can edit this together in Premiere.
You're right? I don't think this has a pausing mechanism. Sorry, I'm recording on a new device.
Yeah,
Stop it.
Can pause it.
Stop. I need to go get my sponges. Make sure he doesn't fuck with my makeup, please. Alright.
Here.
What are you doing?
We can change up. If you want to plug this into the extension cord.
Yeah, by the way, Coco, where is Diva?
And then you can adjust it.
I disappeared. Hold on. No touchy.
Because there's like a different filter mode.
Because we still want to see the color in my face. Otherwise, this is kind of a moot point. There we go. Alright. So then this is my face without anything on it. And then for this, I'm going to use the back of a fork to apply it to my face. It looks a lot different now because this part of my face is low. Because it hasn't been blended in, but this is proper for my face. So the reason I'm using this to put it on my face instead of using a sponge to put it directly on my face is because apparently sponges get really gross really easily, And if you use it to like take stuff and apply it directly onto your face, then it usually sucks up a lot more and it's harder to clean out later on. And if there's any background noise, my fiance Quinn is here. Do you want to say hi?
Hello, I am fiance Quinn.
Yeah, she doesn't. We're kind of learning about this together. So.
I apologize for the appointment.
Well, I've got it angled so most of the apartment can't be seen. Now, I personally try to get all of my face for this. I don't know if most people do, but I do. Most of the acne is gone. Unfortunately, when it comes to acne, it's harder to hide. And I'm doing my lips just a little bit. Because I'm gonna be old, and old people don't have as bright lips as someone who's, you know, younger. And this is something specific to stage makeup, which is to put it on your ears, because if you're on stage, the bright lights, especially if you sweat a lot, the bright lights can make your ears a lot redder than they are. So while you've got like this kind of face, and then people are distracted by your ears, which are unfortunately bright red. And like most makeup, you want to blend it out into your face, or not face, into your neck. Especially if you've got some bad acne spots, which, you know, that's what happens when you're trans and on hormones. You tend to get acne spots a lot later into life. Not to say that people don't usually get it, because, you know, it's kind of normal. So I picked King Lear, and for King Lear, usually, well, not usually, most depictions I saw of him, he had a beard. However, for two reasons, I'm not going to do that. One, King Lear is a Shakespearean play, and I don't think that King Lear in Shakespeare would have a beard, because they want their royalty to seem regal and, you know, well-defined. So I'm actually not going to be going too deep into the wrinkle makeup for this, because I don't think that he would have a lot of wrinkles. Maybe some worry lines, maybe some stuff, but not like the heavy lines of someone who has had someone who's had to work a lot. And I tend to put a lot more of the base around my eyes, because my eyes are very sunken in. It's like, if you notice that versus that, this one looks a lot easier. And basically, when you do this, you want to have no face to start out with, and then to make faces and build on top of it. So like, if I squint right here, you notice I have a lot of lines right here. In a second, we're going to go find a good, like, color, and I will decant some of that, and then use it to, like, fill in those. And, yeah, I'll show you. So, unfortunately, I run really red, and it can be really hard to find stuff that looks good, but also doesn't make it look seriously red, because we don't want to do that. And I'm really sorry about the light changing so much. Hold on. We'll leave it at that. I think that's good. Modeling putty. We might use some of this for later, just for a couple of like moles and things, but we'll see. So I'm going to use the dark brown and see how that looks before, And then depending on how it makes my skin look, we'll might add stuff to it. And for this, I'm going to use the other side of the knife to line it out better. So what you want to do as you're doing, or actually, I forgot I had brushes. Brushes are a lot better to use when it comes to wrinkles because you can like follow it out a little bit easier. There we go. So like this line right here is really intense, so we make it a little bit darker. Let's see how it turned out though. If this is the right color for me or if I need to blend it a little bit. And stuff like that does happen. Usually, after the base coat, you can just kind of smudge it away, but it can leave marks. I'm actually going to use a mirror for this instead of the camera, but I will have it faced towards me so that you can see what I'm doing. You playing with the cat?
Yeah, he wasn't letting me actually play the switch. He wants to play with the reflection of the light off of the switch.
We might follow that a little bit later because it is very intense.
Don't hit the light switch.
So right now it doesn't look like much because it's not been blended, it's not been feathered or anything, but as we go on it'll get a lot better. Fun fact, I did learn that this part right here is called the nasolabial fold, which is a really weird name in my opinion, but that's not the point. See? The best way to get them is to move your face and see how it moves. See, that's a lot too dark. So we'll kind of brush that off a little bit. And I'll use this little sponge right here. Usually I wouldn't recommend applying anything with this. However, treatment spots can work. And if you're just doing like a simple patch, you don't have to worry too much about layering it. Like if you keep doing it, if you keep messing up, then yeah, it's going to become an issue, but I'm sorry, cat. I didn't mean to scare you. And I'm trying to match with cameras, which means that there's going to be a lot more blending with this. But if I was doing stage makeup, it would be a lot bolder. And normally, chapped lips, not the best grade, or not the best thing to have. But when you're trying to look older, see? As I blend it out and add the highlight, it's going to be a lot more believable. Let me just go find my highlight. I'm going to try something a little bit new today. Usually for highlight, as a side note, the contour on my face right now is contour 2. And as you're doing it, especially because it's a little product, you want to just like lightly feather up what's on there. The first time I did this, I made the mistake of adding more. Don't do that. It will get very bright, very fast. And since I'm basing it off a lot of my stuff, there's this little spot right here, which I don't think most people would have. However, I have a scar right there from a kid, or from when I was a kid. So it makes sense that I would have it. Because, like, technically there should be a lot more. But I decided to go a little bit light on the nose, I might change that, actually. After all, if anybody watching has read King Lear, he's not exactly the most well-liked person. He wasn't exactly a good ruler, either. So, like you can say, up close, it's not the greatest, but if I were to be under stage lights, it would dull me out a lot. Not to mention the fact that it would... Oh my goodness, it would dull me out, and also, people are watching from further away, so it makes it a little bit harder to see. And I'm using it just a little bit more of the bass. Honestly, the bass is probably one of the most important things, because you will come back and keep doing it. Do I look old? Do I look tired? Yeah?
This is the first time that I've looked up.
Really? And this isn't even all of, where my face lines up whenever I do things. I'm already a little bit scared because I am not going to age well. Well, yes, I'm trans, and that does affect, aging to an extent. Oftentimes you'll find that trans people tend to look a lot younger than their cis counterparts. However, that will not last forever, and when I do eventually age, it's gonna be a lot. And the feathering up is supposed to give it a more natural look, because it's still, from the videos I've watched to do this tutorial, it is still believable, but not to the same extent. And I don't remember if I said this in the first part, but you always want to start with a clean face. I didn't realize that was such an important part. When I was younger, when I first started getting into makeup, I would just put it on without washing my face. And surprise, surprise, I ended up usually getting, eye issues or anything else like that. And that, accounts for brushes as well, especially when you're in, the stage makeup as a career field. They don't want you getting their actors sick. I mean, nobody likes being sick. And then for the neck, I've not done stuff for the neck before, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. And I think I'm not going to do much for the jawline. King Lear is very much he's older, but he's very much a masculine presence. So if anything, I might make it saggy a little bit, just right here. But other than that, not much. I will make the chin a little bit more noticeable, though, because I feel like he should have strong features. I mean, especially to the part where he... it's getting to be a little bit hard to do stage makeup because it's going so much into, facial features and stuff, and if you don't notice, I have, facial hair now. Which, speaking of, look at that, facial hair. T. I forgot what I was saying. So, the best technique is to feather it out with a brush like this. But I find that that goes just a little bit too far versus just lightly blending out with my finger. And if it was anybody's face, if anybody else's face, say if I was doing my girlfriend's makeup, I would not do it like this because unsanitary. But it's me, so it's a little bit okay. And you want to be careful about blending out around these because, as you can see with mine, it's very easy for it to just blend into itself. I'll be able to fix it when I add the highlight, but until then, I just look like I have stuff on my face. Which isn't where we add the highlight. I'm trying something new today, and it's light 2. For anyone who doesn't have this is all cream based. And like I said, it was quite expensive, but I bought it off the main website because, I don't know. Also, and I should have thought about this before, that is blending into my, nope, there it is. See? When it comes to old makeup, you kind of make your nose just a little bit bigger right here. Yeah, see? With those lines, my nose changed shape pretty drastically. And for this contour line, because it's not an old age line, it's okay to blend and blend more like solidly. And I think we need to change this now that my face has more contour on it, because it's kind of shining really brightly. Sorry. There we go. Too much light from one spot. And especially when you're doing stuff like this, you really want to play around with lighting because it's a lot harder to get things across. So everything I did right here just made my entire nose a lot wider. I was trying more to round it out, but I think I don't know what to do. See? Learning more about contour is a lot of fun because you realize how much you can change your shape. If the men find out we can shapeshift, they're going to tell the church. Except jokes on them, we found out. And I'm gonna turn the lighting back on so I can see myself better in the mirror. It's gonna affect how I show on here, but I will change the lighting in different ways so that it's more visible for y'all in a second. There we go. See? And as I'm closer, it's easy to see. So then after you go through the bottom, you want to just lightly put it under like that. And one of the people I was watching for this was making a good definition of how to do this exactly, which is to basically the idea that, and this is such a weird way of saying it, when trying to mimic old age, think of paper and how paper acts when you fold it. There's just a little bit of lightness underneath where it's been folded. And what is human skin if not more foldable paper? I mean, less foldable. Definitely less foldable. And I'm gonna, because I made this line a little bit heavier, I'm also gonna make the highlight just a little bit heavier. And once I blend that better, it's gonna really show it. And this is just a side note, but there's currently a new musical out called Epic, and it's about Odysseus. And goodness, if that isn't my favorite thing ever. Just a man where he's trying to make the horrible decision whether or not to kill this child. And I mean baby child. This is a very baby, very small child. And he's trying to figure out, well, should I kill it or not? I mean, he doesn't want to. It's never something he wants to do. But in the end, I think he does decide to do it. I don't know. I've only ever actually heard the one song. Alright. And with most people, if you've heard about contour, you have to contour up here and then down, not down here. But with old age, it's actually the opposite, because if you think about your face and where things are, we've got this this sunken in place. So where the bones are going to be a lot more defined. So for a second, we'll jump back to contour. And I'm actually going to use something other than a brush. Hello, spoon. And this one I can go a little bit heavier with because we're going to blend it out. Another good alternative, if you don't want to use something as dark, is to use something with a lot of gray. And if it's too dark, then you can always go back and make it lighter by going over it with your foundation. And that also works with changing the curvature of the face. If I want it to be more gaunt, which I might actually go with, I believe I would outline this right here, to make it look like my cheeks are really sunk in it. You can kind of already see where it is right now. And while we're here, turn this around to the other side and blend this. Really makes it stand out more. Quinn?
Huh?
I'm gonna get you on camera in a second so you can, like, react to it. Because that's really funny. She's a little freaked out. I'm gonna go back to this tiny blender. And with stage blending, that's two. There we go. With stage blending, you want to be very careful about how well you blend it out. So instead of blending it, like, specifically, I tend to just blot it instead of, well, how I've seen blending done. What's up?
I got a really high level Pokemon just by saving and resetting repeatedly, and I didn't expect it to work, but it just worked, and I almost screamed.
Thank you for not screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with the lighter one, which means we're just gonna ever so faintly, if you think about it as, like, how would you do your makeup if you were a skeleton? Or heck, if you were what's called a draugr, which is, if you don't know, basically a skeleton with flesh over it, then how would you do it? And I think I'm going to take a little bit off of this right here. And voila. Just gonna there we go. See, it completely changed my shape. So this is how it looks right now. It still seems, in person it feels really bright, but on screen with all the lights it looks really good. I believe the best way to figure out if it would work would be to back up and get brighter lights, but I don't have brighter lights.
You can increase the brightness of that one.
Well, oh, no, actually that's perfect, thank you. It's set brightest at 3, right?
And the, yeah, and
You
the
know, I'm
large
turning-
one.
Yeah, I know. So if we turn these back to me and turn them up to their highest setting, and then turn off the main light, this might be what it looked like, but not exactly. With stage, there's a lot more lights. They're a lot bigger, they're a lot brighter. But I'd say for an attempt that it's pretty good. And it looks like what I wanted it to. Gaunt cheeks, still decently masculine, but not too masculine. The cheeks were a little bit of a experiment. Let me turn this off so you can see me. The cheeks were a little bit of an experiment, but I'm still pretty proud of them. And I want to just real quickly define my bags. Which isn't that something you don't hear often. And then blend this out. Let's see if we can get a little bit more blending out of this little sponge, which I may steal. Steal as in it's borrowed. Cleaned. Infrequently used, but borrowed. I think I went a little too heavy on this eye. I actually think it just kind of ruined it. I'm not gonna lie. But while this is a tutorial, this is also me learning. So, of seeing what went well, what didn't. Quinn? Is it? Yeah? Do I look old?
You do.
Hey, Sonny.
Stop. Stop. Stop.
And actually, which is reminding me of something, is I'm going to define my eyebrows well. So, the best thing to do, I believe, is would be, hypothetically, if I were to do this, to cover up the entire eyebrows, cosplay style, with glue, and then paint them back on. However, that is a lot of work, and I need to turn this in tonight. So I will be doing something else instead, which is to... Oh, right. Actually, before I do that, I want to do the other thing, which is use the hair white that I was instructed to use for the video. I've never used hair white before, so this will be fun. Yeah. Okay, I'm scared. White hair color. What if we read the instructions first? Let me just pull out my glasses. Which, if you do wear glasses, you may notice that it changes how my face looks, and that is because, well, glasses change how your face looks. Quinn? It's different, right? It's not as defined and sharp.
Yeah, but I think it still pairs well with your makeup, like, just as a testament to, like, your facial shape.
Yeah, I mean, it is my face, and part of the reason that these are so sunken in is the shape of my glasses really define it, but also hide it. Okay. Oh, okay. This isn't the right way to apply it, I just realized. Hello, little spoon. Yeah, so what I just did there, applying it with the brush, that's a no-no. And now I have to wash my table runner. What is this called, Quinn?
It's like a tablecloth.
Yeah. So I think that the best thing to do is to pour it into one's hair and slowly rake it through. As somebody who does cosplays and stuff, which I need to do another cosplay tutorial on here since I'm getting better with it, you can also use hair chalk. I've never used this before, so I don't know exactly how well it's going to turn out, but I do know that with hair chalk... Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Doc Brown, is that you? Quinn? You think it's needs to be changed shapes or what?
Maybe towards the back. Like,
Well-
make it, like,
So I didn't match the back because I don't want to use all of this. Not like
gotcha.
all at once. No. Because
oh, there's not a lot in there.
well, no. It's not that there's not a lot in there, but I don't want to use all of it at once.
Okay.
And I don't know how much.
And
But
that,
luckily, unlike some of my counterparts, I don't have a lot of hair. So even if I were to do the entire thing, I would still have some of the bottle left. I just want to save it in case I want to use it later.
I think one's good.
For cosplays, I would probably either just for old age, this is probably perfect. So, I don't know. I think I would use this brand again. Let's try to slick it back a little bit. Yeah, that makes sense. My hair's unrolling and so am I. So, I think that to fix it, because I'm noticing that some of it's getting unblended. So I think, and I figured something out here, and I'm bleeding a little bit.
What?
I'll put a band-aid on in a second after I wash my hands. I think something I figured out is that when it comes to some of the more detail stuff, that it's important to not blend it so much. Because my mouth looked really good a second ago before I blended it. That's definitely one of the areas where the feathering technique as well. Quinn, as a bystander, do I still look older from the sides?
Turn. Turn the other way. I'd say so. Which side was blended more?
Oh, hold on. I don't know. I think I tried to blend both sides about evenly. For this one, I am going to use the brush to lightly apply it to my eyebrows. And I'm going to go a little bit thicker than what my eyebrows actually are. Because how many among us have met an old man who didn't have bushy eyebrows? And what's interesting here is that I was actually told to find pictures of, like, actually old people and not find actors who had been made to look like the character that I chose. And it kind of makes sense, because, like, This is my granddaughter.
I don't like it. I don't know.
Like,
It is convincing.
what don't you like about it?
I don't recognize this face upon your recognizable body. Where did my charger go?
Which is something that I've told her multiple times. I'll have to wash my hands in a bit. Something I told her after class was like not being able to recognize my own face because I had spent so much time changing the shape. Like the same day I learned how to do most of this, I also had like changed my nose shape to make it look broken. I'd make it bigger, smaller, change my face to make it longer.
That looks really good on camera, though.
Yeah, doesn't it? The color, and this is on different lighting. So if you look at this, this is no lighting besides natural. This is low lighting, medium,
Why
highlight.
did you turn this one off?
And then
Like, too bright?
just if you notice like the differences as I add lighting.
Wow, that is bright.
Yeah.
I forgot how bright that was.
And the thing about lights is that it changes how your face looks completely.
Have you tried the different colored ones?
Hold on. And there's also the whole thing of whenever you're doing this, whatever you use is going to change how your makeup looks. Like this yellow one, I don't think it looks realistic. It really highlights the brown. It makes it noticeable that it's makeup. This one's not too bad. I think it's a yellowish. Purple.
No, that's like base white, I think. Please don't. That's a lot.
Now I know how to prank her if I want to. But, yeah. This is what I think King Lear would look like if he existed today. Tired, old, but I think I overdid the math a little bit too much. But genuinely, at the end of the day, not that old. Actually, hold on. It's missing one thing. There we are. Quinn.
Oh, that adds to it a lot.
Yeah, you gotta get those old age spots in there. I feel like it's too heavy, but I don't know. Voice of other person telling me whether or not it is.
What?
Come here.
One sec. Hold on.
This
Let me do this.
is
Watch
my
out, folks.
finished look. If you look really closely, once the camera adjusts, the old age spots look a lot brighter, but I think that on camera, and especially on stage when things get like doled out so much, that it really makes a difference. And now I'm going to move a couple of things around so that you can see Finance. Also, if I really wanted to have fun with it, I could add a mole using this putty. But I don't think...
Is there like paper?
Yeah, it's just facial putty.
Yeah, that looks really...
What about? Talk to the camera. Tell them what's different.
Sorry. Don't do that. No.
What's
It
different?
really adds like depth on camera or from like a distance. Like,
Up close,
where-
it's intense. Man, every time I open my eyes a little wider, they look a little bit crazier. But this video is about an hour long, so I'm gonna stop here and clean my hands, or maybe finish this and post a cosplay video on my Instagram. Though I don't know what it'd be a cosplay of.
Wouldn't you wouldn't that have been better if you did like the costume part of it first before the makeup?
Mm,
Hey, goats.
yeah, probably. But as you can see, if you get real close, you can still see where stuff is. And okay, that's interesting.
What?
I didn't even realize this happened, but a little bit more of my base collected in my wrinkles on my eyes, and it adds to it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I wish I'd done more of my life.